Once it's up, then I'll shut this off. So hang on. Well, are we sure Mercury's out of Gatorade? Because all this technology is acting up. Okay, it looks like it's on. All right. Yep. Looks like we're live. So I'm going to shut this video off. Okay, cool. All right. All right, it's live streaming. Cool. So how is everyone? Good? You ready for the new report? New moon coming up, September coming up, all that shit coming up. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's start with the screen share. So this is going to be part one. Find that it's easily digestible. If we can break up the month in two, so we can do this, look at the new moon, look at transits, and then we have a full moon coming up. So this is the new moon here. Okay. You guys see my screen, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So new moon's in Leo. I don't know what tropical is saying, but I'm picking up on something here that's trying to perfect. I was looking at a few things. I was kind of at first making out this this Merkaba, which is perfection, star seed energy, but there's nothing on the bottom. You can see here is a perfect grand trine. I see. So what I notice instantly is a lot of times when I see some aspect like that that's open, I look at what else is going on down here. Why isn't there a grand trine between Venus and Uranus? So and so I usually look at this energy and say maybe there's a leak in the Merkaba. So the Merkaba is known as the star seed vehicle. It's the chariot. And I always draw a person here. So that's the person that's remembering or knowing their purpose. And they're contained in this light seed, light vehicle, the ascension vehicle. But somehow there's something going on here that's open. So there's a bleed. And then when you look at the bleed, there's a lot of T-squares. So we're going to look at that and see what could this possible bleed be. But first, maybe we can look at what we're trying to see perfection in, because that could be important. And if you look, we have Pluto. It's retrograde. It's in Sag. Now this is where it gets really interesting. I already kind of know what it is. You have Uranus conjunct Algo. Remember, that's been going on for a while. All right, so we're focusing just on the Merkaba. Then we have Venus conjunct South Node in Virgo. All right, so that's open. Something's wrong down here. Then the next part of the Merkaba we have is the asteroid Lilith. And then we have the North Node. I just want to see if Lilith is hitting North Node and Neptune. Yeah. So it's hitting this conjunction. Then it's coming down on the IC. It's rooting. It's the root. It's anchoring. So if you just look at this Merkaba, the perfection that's trying to happen is it's quite interesting because it's around the energy of that suppressed feminine that was awakening. And earlier on, we saw some possible rage going on and just some feelings of not being correct. Things just not correct. That's because this Lilith represents the suppressed feminine. And earlier when we did the last report, this was at 13 degrees, which was interesting because 13 is the sign that we work with of Fucus. So that Lilith has a aspect to North Node Neptune. So this is the dreams, the visions of what could be, the spiritual dreams. And then you look at this, so that's the Merkaba that's kind of rooting down on Earth, rooting the dreams of the balanced energy that was revealed from recognizing the suppressed feminine energy in us. So that's the goal. That's something that's trying to be perfected, is what I see. Then you have Pluto in the next part of the Merkaba, which is not complete. You have Pluto, the planet of transmutation. It's the shaman planet. It's the one that allows us to go into the deep, dark, and heavy realm to bring out the light. So all the ugly stuff that then we're afraid of, but it actually winds up being okay, especially it's in Sag. So it can see to the light. Then it's actually hitting the Uranus conjunct Algo, which was causing this energy to awaken. Because the Algo, remember we spoke about that if you guys were around. This is the eye of Medusa. So this is the angry, dark, rebellious feminine energy that's just vicious. Oh, it's seen as vicious. So that's there, Pluto. So it's kind of heavy, it's intense. And then it's South Node, Venus, in Virgo. So that is actually the perfect feminine. Because Virgo is the sky mother goddess, right? In Egypt, you see her on the temples. This connected to Isis, the primordial mother, sky mother goddess, Mary. And then Venus, of course, is the feminine embodiment on Earth, the three-dimensional. This is Inanna. This is the divine feminine. So it's remembering that perfection. But there's a bleed. There's an opening. So I look at that as a bleed. So then it's like, okay, well, what's bleeding? So let's look at that, right? So first of all, anybody have any questions or kind of need to see more clarity on this Merkaba that's incomplete? Yeah, we're cool. We can see it because I'm gonna erase it because it's gonna get too messy. So just remember the points where it is if you kind of want to get back to it. But just know that the opening between Venus and Uranus are not. It's open. It's not. It's bleeding out. Right. So then now we want to come and we want to see. All right. Um, well, what can be? What's possible? What's happening down here? So we can see we have a T square with this Mars Jupiter conjunction in Taurus, the Venus that we just spoke about, and that North Node Neptune. So this is a total disruption because this point, the North Node Neptune was part of that Merkaba, and then this South Node Venus was part of that Merkaba. So this was remembering the past of how perfection was as being, surrendering to the primordial feminine mother goddess energy, what that perfection is. Then we have a disruption here because Mars and Jupiter usually are signs of success and conquering. So it's in Taurus, success and conquering of stability, land, things like that. Then it's disrupting the remembering of the primordial mother and the visions of having like a spiritual, blissful, the vision of the future. So there's a conquering going on. So I think this is more kind of that war stuff that's kind of interfering with our spiritual flow is what I see the bleed being. So what I would recommend is we watch for conflict, watch for, I don't know. I'm wondering like at this point, um, do not even subscribe to what's going on in the news because it's trying to separate us and take us away from understanding divinity and the power of manifestation through having these spiritual visions and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. There's something being conquered, something being, and it has to do with comfort and stability. And you can see here, it's near Orion too. Alnihin. That's the belt star of Orion. So that's one disruption. So I keep my eyes out for that there. Is that's a pretty disruptive square that goes right into, it cuts into the Merkaba that's looking for perfection. So that's one. Then the next one, this is really interesting too. I was looking at that going, oh, okay, I'm getting to see something there. Because sometimes I think I'm crazy when I see all these aspects and I'm thinking that there's a story, but there is. Because that other T square that interferes with the closure of this Merkaba, these planets were involved with the Merkaba too. We have asteroid Lilith, we have Uranus Algo, and then the one that's not there is Mercury, and it's full moon. I mean, sorry, new moon in Leo, Mercury in Leo. So let's look at this T square challenge. Remember, T squares are lessons learned through challenges or obstacles that have to be overcome in order to achieve something. And this is, remember, cutting into the Merkaba. So what's going on here? Because Lilith is the suppressed feminine that we sort of are feeling like it's on the other side of the darkness. But then it's remembering, and it's in Libra, right? So it's balancing, it's living in Ma'at, right? That's the Ma'at is searching for cosmic law and order and balance. All is balanced in the universe. What's going on? And then it's hitting the Algo Uranus, the awakening of the dark feminine, that's remembering the suppressed feminine, and then the planet of communication. And Leo is the heart. This is the pure Leo, Mercury, Leo energy is pure heart communications. That's what it is. So because Leo represents pureness, the pure essence of a blossoming childlike flower. That's the Leo energy. It's the big cuddly lion. So Mercury, so we have a new moon there, so that energy is there already. The luminaries are all there. And then Mercury is there communicating, but it's T square with this raging energy. So there's going to be more conflict of this suppressed feminine showing a little bit of scary side and dark energy. So so for all the fellas out there, take some time and listen because the ladies are going to be roaring. The Leo raw. So I would definitely listen a little bit more. Is there's something being communicated and it's not direct at you, but you know, it's there, so it's going to be coming up. And that new moon is September 2nd. It's not too far away. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is going on now or going to be start on the weekend. So that I would keep an eye out on that and just so the fellows have to listen, hold space because it's gonna fit. It's disruptive because remember the Merkaba is looking for it's looking for purity. It's looking for perfection. And essence, Leo energy, heart energy is perfection, and that's being disrupted. That's what my concern is. So anybody had questions on that yet so far? Anything? Any insight? Okay. So
I have a question about when you guys talk about like the degree that something is,
yeah,
like the moon is going to be 26 degrees, the new moon will be 26
yeah.
degrees. Um, can you Can you explain kind of what that means? And the reason I'm asking is because, like, in my natal,
Mhm.
Pluto is 26 degrees Leo.
Oh, so this is going to be right on top of your Leo, right on top of your Pluto.
Yeah.
Uh, so the degrees are it's basically, well, the sun moves 1 degree a day, so, and the moon moves 12 and a half degrees a day. So
So it's
it's
basically
just
it's like a mapping, right? So it's a mapping of
yeah,
it's coming.
exactly. Yeah, it's like like a clock.
Yeah.
So it's like the minute hand, the
Hmm.
and then the second hand. So it's sort of like that, 20, so that's the short explanation of that. Yeah, so it's 26 degrees. We're not too heavy on like, whoa, it's 26 versus 30 degrees. We're not too heavy. At least I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
wild. Oh my God, it's 26 degrees. It's terrible. Instead of 13 degrees, that's okay. I'm not, I don't get into that. But it's just where it is in the sign. So 26 is in Leo. And we also, I don't know if you know, we use the true sizes of the constellation. So if you notice, our constellations are not equal sizes.
Hmm.
So Leo, I don't know, I forgot off the top of my head how big Leo is, but 26 degrees, you can see it in the line right there. It's sort of almost towards the end of Leo. So the sun and moon have, sun at least has been in Leo for 26 days. It's been 26 days in Leo, right? Because it's
Hmm.
Leo.
So if I think about that, if I say, okay, so like if my natal chart is my personal map,
Yeah.
and then these transits, so when
Hmm.
that moon comes around and it hits my Pluto directly, so it's going to be like aspecting like my
Yeah.
personal Pluto. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. So this is like, mm, so for you, what house is it in? Do you know?
The third house, and I have a stellium in there too.
Oh boy, cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
for you, you're gonna have more of a mental awakening, probably, a mental breakthrough. But I wouldn't be surprised because of Pluto if you wouldn't go through a mental breakdown first. Or I don't want to scare you, but
No, no, no.
like a
I'm here for it.
That was funny.
yeah, yeah, like a mind kind of a mind like your mind's gonna like pop for a second. But don't get scared because Pluto, don't get worried about that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that comes up first, and then you got Mercury going to be hanging out somewhere. That's probably going to show up in your second or third house.
So
Right?
yeah, Mercury is well. That stellium is Mercury, Pluto,
Oh wow,
and Neptune.
yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if you are not very vocal about your process. What
That
you
would
just
be every day. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Well, well
But
that
I find it interesting though because I was just telling somebody I was like, Mercury retrograde never affects me. Like I don't feel any
yeah,
different. But this
yeah,
last one, I guess
yeah.
because it was in Leo, like it was weird. Like and it was around communication because I was like, I'm tired of people talking. Like I don't want anybody talking to me, and I don't want to talk to anybody. Like it was just so weird.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Well, on a good note, you should see too. I mean, I'll show you something else, just because this was the next thing I was going to show. Oh wait, no, wait. Okay, you said this was on your Pluto. Okay, I got mistaken because there is a Pluto aspect that looks pretty cool. It's this Pluto. It's like part of it makes up what's known as the kite of a grand trine. See, it's like a wide pyramid, and that actually supports the trine and the transformation here. You see that with that trine. So there's going to be deep processing with that Pluto energy. But still, that Pluto energy could affect you too, even if it's in your third house. Because it's Pluto. You're related to Pluto. Wherever Pluto goes, it's in Sag, which is which is really the ninth house, the opposite of the third. So you might feel the effects of that, some kind of like deep process, like a deep shamanic a shamanic journey type deal. Because Pluto and Neptune equal a shamanic journey,
Mm,
a vision quest. So
interesting.
we're dealing with Lilith. Yeah, I mean, I mean, things can really break down, and you can see that Lilith has another sextile to Venus, and then to the IC, to the root. So that's all part of that Merkaba. These are what support it. These are like the supporting brackets of this Merkaba here. So it's going to be an interesting month. I mean, if you can sink into all this, it's
I'll
going
have
to
to post in the group and let everybody know. What is it, Tuesday, right? Let
yeah,
everybody know what happened.
Is it Tuesday or Monday? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so that's what's coming up. I mean, and if you notice what we just did, the entire chart's connected. There's pretty much no planet hanging out on its own doing nothing. Like every planet here is working. It's like going at it, you know. So that's the new moon coming up, and then I usually like to look at the transits, but since we covered everything, it's kind of irrelevant unless we want to know when certain things are going to hit. But you can see here all those aspects we just went over. And if you just want to take a quick note, these are the dates. You want to like jot some stuff down, like when is the exact square between the Mercury and North Node? I mean, Mars and North Node. I mean, some people might want to know that because that's action. That's the 13th through the 17th. So, but pretty much like you can see, like there's like a scaling wave of energy, and all these planets are just hitting each other, you know. So, so unless you have like a specific question on what's going exact, like we had that. I was gonna see. Oh yeah, I didn't put Lilith in this transit because I had to select something else. But that Chiron, Mercury North Node trine, I wanted to figure out that's that healing communications that was also attached to Lilith. And I'm kind of looking at that and saying that's going to be the time when, when I said, hey, fellas have to listen, this is it here around that time. So around the new moon. So it's going to be pretty real. And then right at the same time, we have the Mars square Mercury, Neptune exact. And then the Neptune sextile Pluto is ending. So that this new moon, like that date, it's going to be pretty real. So I would stay open for that. And I ran it through the month, but we're going to do the rest of the month on part two. I find that it's better to do it in two parts because sometimes the whole month is hard to look at. But just so you know, like you see this Mercury is hitting towards the end of the month. Mercury is hitting Uranus, Neptune, and this is interesting, Pluto, trine. So when you see a Mercury and Pluto, that's revealing hidden information. And look at the number, 1111 on whatever date that is, September 25th, right? I just lost my mouse. But yeah, so anyway, we're going to review that part on the next report. And we'll see that brewing up. So, all right, anybody have any questions or insights or anything? I see
Yeah,
Susan.
just like that.
Yeah, so she's she's ready for it.
Well, this all seems very activating. So I was wondering if there was something here where it was, or if you could decipher how this is going to affect the collective.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the collective here. Now, like Xena was like recognized that 26 degrees Leo is where she has Pluto. So when you lay it over your own chart, like if you do a synastry chart, that's how it affects you personally. But this what I just read is collective. And then yeah, if you do it on a personal, then it becomes something a little different because that new moon is it's different for everyone depending on where that's hitting you. So, but
Okay.
this is the collective what I just read off.
So this really is just very activating.
Yeah, it's very activating. So
And then you mentioned war in there too. So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
very potent.
yeah, exactly. So you want to figure that out. I mean that's on my rising. I have Taurus rising, so I don't know how that's gonna. It's definitely disrupting my peace, and I don't know. I gotta keep an eye on that because that Mars energy is kind of weird, and
How does Taurus play into that?
well, Taurus. I don't know. I was looking at Taurus this year with Uranus in there,
Hmm.
searching for stability. Because I don't know if you remember if you've been how long you've been following all this, but we've been keeping an eye on Taurus. I mean Uranus. It went into Aries and then it went back into Taurus. So a while ago we saw the pattern here because Aries we were making changes. Uranus and Aries, we were all making like these big life changes, and then we went into Taurus, and then we rooted with the life changes, and then it went back into Aries, and we kind of like uprooted again, and then now Uranus is back in that Taurus, and now we're rooting again. So it's like we just like I feel like we want to just like root the change, root what we've changed into. And then I feel like this disruption energy, this war energy or whatever is disrupting that. I mean, there's people I'm hearing that literally or like just because the mortgage rates went up or down or whatever, 2% or something or percent, they decided to not buy houses. And it made a huge effect on the real estate market. And Taurus represents that. If I'm not going to buy now. I'm going to buy, another time. I mean, that 2% difference is big for some people. So this is what I see. So disruption, more disruption.
But it could
And
be disruption in a good way, though, right? Like disruption of.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if you see it coming, it could be in a good way, like, yeah,
Yeah, if you see it coming, definitely. But if you don't, it's definitely not.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You're ready to buy a house, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing it. So you just gotta just keep an eye on it, know what's going on. I mean, the way I operate now in the world is I'm just a total observer because I'm looking at all this. So that's why I live on a boat and I just observe, just look out. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, shit's going on, man. You know what I mean? And that's so yeah. And then if you're in the game, if you're playing a game and you're gonna see this energy coming up, just know what's happening. So it could be a good thing. It could be used to an advantage. So
Well, I'm just wondering what the Uranus is not just change, it's shock. Mhm.
wonder with what?
I was reading the chat. They say Uranus is not just change, it's shock.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's known as well unpredictable. Yeah, and it's a sporadic. It's shocking energy. I think I have to see if it's hitting Mercury. Yeah, it squares Mercury. Yeah, so that's I think we saw that. Yeah, that's part of that's T square we saw. Yeah, it hits Mercury. So yeah, this is yeah, it could create like shock, like yeah, like
Like some news could come in that's
yeah,
jolting.
yeah. You
yeah,
too. Mercury, Uranus usually are technology and broadcasting. So that sometimes you would see news come up or information, shocking information, new information, unpredictable information. Like stuff like that. So that's what I was saying. It's disruptive. It's like it's like shit. Where do I settle? What do I do? Like, where am I going to be? What am I going to do? Yeah. So that's kind of what happens. So if you know it's happening, then you just cool with it. You know. I had some things going on with me. Like we're planning to go to Egypt, and then the trip got moved around a little bit because I was invited with Frederica to speak in front of a big audience in the Netherlands about the 13th sign and stuff. So like that uprooted me a little bit because I was like, shit, I'm gonna be gone for like almost 2 months now. I just want to go for a month, and it's like, well, it's a great opportunity. So it's like I saw it here, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so this is kind of like, what do I do? Where am I gonna be? You know? So I'm not taking it so hard, but it's there, so it'll come up.
So you had seen it before, and then once you looked at and you ran the chart and everything, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, yeah. I've been practicing that for a while, just to see my attunement to the celestial movement. So sometimes I don't look at a chart, I let things happen, and then I go back and I say, what happened on this last 3 days? And I look and I said, I bet something happened with Uranus, or I bet Uranus is doing something with Mercury because that was shocking stuff or weird. And then I look and oh, there we go. You know, so I've been
Yeah,
practicing.
and it's in the first house too.
Huh?
I said then it's in our first or 12th house, depending on where it's at.
Oh yeah, for me that would be in my rising. Yeah, that Uranus is hitting me right, so it's strong. It's like right there on the east for me, in my chart. Cool, peeps. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anybody want to ask more questions or?
Somebody's
Yeah,
asking, is
15.
Mercury trining the galactic center?
Yeah, it is right here. But the thing is, there's nothing in the galactic center. Usually, I would like to see a planet there. It's also forming like a grand trine with Chiron. So this is about the healing talk. This is what I was talking about when there's going to be some healing talk going on. That's part of it too. But the galactic center, I mean, I like to see something there because the planet, when there's a planet there, it actually carries it to Earth a little bit clearer. So, but yeah, it is hitting the galactic center. So that, I mean, there could be something for that too. I mean, if you want to observe that for a minute and see if you feel some cosmic information coming in, like really high celestial knowledge coming in. That's a possibility. Yeah.
I was gonna say the 15th. Look at the 15th.
Oh, the 15th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna do that for the next week. Yeah, we're gonna do the 15th. That's when we're gonna look at that full moon coming in. Yeah. But I'm just trying to get you through this new moon in the week after. And then we'll look at the other stuff for the end of the month. Because I saw it, there's a lot more there, so I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. But yeah, there's a lot more towards the beginning to the end of the month.
Yeah, because we got the Uranus retrograde on the 1st, and then you got the new moon the next day.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's about to be interesting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting. A lot of the planets are retrograde. I mean, these are for a while, but I don't really get hung up on retrogrades so much unless I'm looking at a natal chart, and then I kind of want to see where that's hitting the person. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Cool, guys. All right. So I think we're going to wrap this up. Um, yeah, you guys are good? Yeah.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. And yeah, let me see the chat. Hang on, let me stop the share. I see some chat stuff going on. Let me see if I need to answer anything. Oh yeah, GC looked into Uranus and Taurus and conflicts. Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about. I think you came in a little late. We were talking about that because Mars and Jupiter are there, so there's some conflict going on. Yeah, Caroline. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then like just not too long ago, a lot of Ukrainian soldiers started attacking certain cities in Russia.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
yes, such a disruption. All that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
it's
why I was trying to figure out is what you were saying. Could it align with maybe something changing with the what's going on in the Middle East?
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I try not to get into politics and war, but yeah, I mean there's that's what I mean. There's a disruption for us of stability and land and peaceful living.
Mm.
Because there's something, remember I was saying there's something trying to be perfected with this Merkaba. Then this
Mm-hmm.
conquering disruptive energy. Taurus represents stability, land, nurturing. So there's something going on there, and it's on the collective, so it's war, it's conflict like that, and then yeah, property ownership, all this weird stuff. Yeah, yeah, cool. All right, party people, I'm gonna wrap it up, and we'll meet for the next one for part 2. Okay,
Thanks, Captain Knight.
peace.